Hi, in this video I'm going to show you 2 tips for organizing your spreadsheets that can be done in both Excel and Google Sheets. The first tip I'm going to show you is about expanding your columns, and you can do so in one step. So notice here some of our columns like grade level or total absences, they're not totally visible, but let's show you how to do that and expand them out in one step. So you'll start by highlighting the spreadsheet, and then you will go to the edge of any column. It doesn't have to be the one that needs to be expanded. And then you will double click and notice how all of the columns in the spreadsheet are now expanded. Another tip that can be helpful when you are working with large spreadsheets is that sometimes you lose your place when you are going from left to right or up and down. And so another tip we're going to look at is how to freeze panes. So let's say in this example, I want to freeze the first 3 columns, column A, B, and C with the student identification information. And I also want to freeze this header row here in row 1. So what I'll do is, since I want to freeze the first 3 columns, that means I have to put my cursor in a cell starting at column D. And since I want to freeze the first row, I need to go below that. So that leaves me with putting my cursor in D2. So again, that means I'll freeze up to columns A, B, and C, and also up to row 1. Then I'll go to View, pick Freeze Panes, and instead of choosing one of these options, freeze only the top row or freeze only the first column, I'm going to do Freeze Panes. And you may not have seen it, but a very faint line appeared both to the left of D2 and to the top of D2, so that when I move from left to right, those first 3 columns are frozen, and when I move up and down, that first column is also, that first row is also frozen. Now let's see how we do that in Google Sheets. So again, notice here in this spreadsheet, some of our columns are not all visible, so we'll do the same thing. Select the entire spreadsheet, go to the edge of any column, double click, and there you have it. All in one step, all of the column labels are now visible. Now to freeze panes in Google Sheets kind of requires 2 steps. You can't do it in one step like you can do it in Excel. So again, let's say we wanted to freeze the first 3 columns. That means in Google, I need to put my cursor somewhere in column C. So I'll put my cursor there, then we go to View, we look for Freeze, and it says up to column C. And notice that strong line appears. And then since I want to freeze that first row, I move my cursor up, so it's somewhere in that first row. I go to View, Freeze Panes, I select my first row, and again my first row is frozen. So when we move left to right, the first 3 columns stay in place. When we move up and down, that header row stays in place. And so that's how you would expand columns as well as freeze panes both in Google and Excel.